Okay, now don't be mad.
You're listening to the RPM Podcast.
It's not good.
And here we are again, episode 198 of the RPM Podcast. It is October 5th, 2021 at 8:20 p.m. on a Tuesday night. I'm Scott Riggleman, your host down in Manchester, New Jersey. My brother Tim Riggleman is up in Farmingdale, New Jersey. Tim, how are you?
I'm good, more than ready to go.
Were you at the track Saturday night, Tim?
Yes, sir, I was.
I noticed you usually got 3 or 4 modified guys you might have a chance spotting for that night. I didn't see any of those guys there. Did you spot for anybody in the modified race?
No, I did not. I actually got to watch a race for a change.
So you just spotted for Ryan Fisher, the O2 car in the Sportsman race?
That's it, yes.
All right, cool. All right, we got Joshua Matthews with the buzz in his earphone down there.
Oh, did I just do something?
No,
Yeah.
you're good now.
Oh,
you
yo,
turned it
yeah,
off.
never mind. I didn't have it up on my end. My bad. Sorry, guys.
All right, Josh is down in Waretown, New Jersey. Joshua Matthews down in the Matthews Family Studio. Josh, how are you?
Good. Working a lot of hours, getting that overtime. Going to be a good winter.
Get it while you can.
Yep. So,
All right, guys, we're going to start right off at Wall Stadium. It was championship night. Tim, did they have any more fancy names for this night, or was it just championship night?
No, I don't remember any other names for.
Nah, it wasn't
for that
Cowboy Night or Carnival Night or
No, not that I know of.
Circus Night or.
Nope.
no.
Well,
We call it
Tim,
Blame
we were
Your
kids, I
Spotter
don't-
Night.
Tim, when we were kids, I don't remember so many theme nights. Do you? I mean, I remember like ladies' night, like the ladies got in for half price or something like that, or bike night. But I don't remember any more than that. Do you?
They were more sponsorship driven, like the Budweiser Classic.
Yep, you're right.
Stuff like that.
Yeah.
Peterson Riviera night. Remember they had a.
Yeah, and then those companies would hand out stuff, right, Tim? They
Yeah,
would give out
yeah.
frisbees and shirts and stuff like that. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was more
Would you say that
corporate
was
sponsor related?
Would you say that was more akin to like the Napa night?
Yeah.
Because I know Napa's not specifically always sponsoring like a race, but you know they have all their people come out.
Right.
So I actually it would be cool to see more individual sponsored races.
Well, maybe now that COVID's gone, we'll start seeing that coming around again. You know,
Yeah.
more. You know, they can get more bang for their sponsorship dollars. You know, even in Cup racing and NASCAR racing. I mean, we had Danny Bone on here, and he was pretty much telling us, he's like, "What value am I giving my sponsor right now during COVID? There's nobody in the grandstands. We can't put a display in the grandstands. We can't do this. We can't do that. All that stuff's lightening up now. So maybe you can get more corporate stuff going on at the racetrack again. You know."
Yeah, I know it's so reliant on being able to get the exposure. Yeah, no, it's difficult. I
Tell you
feel
what, if I was a bigger company, I would definitely do something what Stavola did a couple of weeks ago, because the crowds are there again at Wall Stadium. The crowds have been great. They've been phenomenal. Believe it or not, though, this Saturday was a little light, but even though it was a little light, it was still a good crowd. It wasn't what we had the previous weeks.
honestly the weather was perfect for it.
Yeah, it was. It was perfect. Perfect race in the weather on Saturday. It was championship night. Championship night means it's the last races of the year for the point seasons. We still have a couple more races to go before we're done racing, but it closed out the regular season points championships, and it was double points. That's the only difference. It was same amount of laps for the features and everything like that, but they did award us double points. And just to give you a quick idea what I mean by double points, it's normally 55 points to win a feature. Now it's 110. So basically what it does, it goes from 2 points a spot difference to 4 points a spot difference. That's pretty much what double points does for us.
Yeah, it's kind of it's a cool gamble, because that could really cause a big swing for somebody who would have otherwise felt like they were not in the running for, you know, anything championship wise, whether it be the actual championship or even, you know, podium in the championship race.
And this is something new that the Krauses did. We never had double points at the end of a season. It was just always regular points. It makes it more interesting. I kind of like it. You know, like Josh just said, if you're behind, it does give you a chance to make it up. And if you are leading, you got to be careful, because you can lose quite a few spots too.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I like it. Now I know you said it was a hair light, and you mentioned off the air that the guys that Tim usually spots for weren't there. Do you think they were saving up for next week's big race?
I don't know. Tim usually spots for Ricky Collins, and he had a little twist in his story. He actually ran his sister's factory stock with us in the factory stock division, other than the modified. But yeah, Josh, you can be right. I mean, they got a big paying race coming up this weekend for the Cliff Krause Memorial.
Right,
I think
right.
it's $7,200 to win or something like that. So you might have had a few guys just saving their equipment for that. Saving their tire money for that. Or maybe just a guy like Jimmy Blue who doesn't race every week, doesn't want to go there on championship night and screw something up for someone's season-long championship.
Oh, that's a good point. That's a good point.
Yeah,
I hadn't thought about that. And then we'll lead into this later, but I know Turkey Derby is a little earlier than normal, right? Or no. Well, the practices I think is the dates I saw initially.
Turkey Derby's kind of spread out the whole month of November this year
Yeah.
with the practices, and then local Saturday they're having the week before, and then Friday and Saturday of Thanksgiving weekend. They're kind of turning Turkey Derby into a whole month of November thing.
Yeah. So
While we're talking about Turkey Derby, I like to sit in the grandstand and listen to people what they talk about. One of the main concerns that I heard from different people were the camper. They wanted to know if you could leave your camper there all week. Like if you have it there the first weekend and then leave it there to the second
For a
weekend.
convenience thing, that would be great, but I don't know if Wall Stadium would want the responsibility of someone's personal camper sitting there all week.
that might be you can leave it here, but it's at your own risk kind of a thing.
I mean, that is a good question, though. I mean, once it's set up, if you're going to be there. But then again, do you really need to camp there the week before? Because it's just a one-day show. You know what I'm saying?
Well, then again, that's people. That's what they do.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's a fair question, Tim.
That's part of Turkey Derby atmosphere. I mean, even when I was racing, it was cool because, especially when the factory stocks got relegated to the parking lot, and you'd see all the people would have their fires going and everything. I mean, it was always just part of the atmosphere. I mean, that's Turkey Derby.
I've done my fair share of camping at the racetrack. And Scott, I know you said it even at your campground site. There's nothing better than waking up in the morning, going out and opening the door and having a fresh cup of coffee, bright and early in the morning, and you still smell the smoke from the fires, and it's all nice and quiet, and you know it's going to start to get busy soon. You sit there and enjoy your first cup of coffee in the morning.
That's a fair question if they're going to have camping the first week on local Saturday, and if they would allow you to keep your camper there. I see it being doubtful. But it would be cool. You go set your camper up, and it's all set up for the first weekend. You leave it there all week, and it's ready to go come Thanksgiving weekend,
I want to add to Tim's thing of it. You're enjoying that coffee and the campfire smell, and then you hear modified engines start warming up.
Yeah.
Or there's somebody already out in the parking lot working on their stuff. Usually Ronnie Mullins' team was out there, fixing a car. I remember the one they were changing the transmission or something in Jerry Coning's car. There was race car activity as soon as you walk out your camper door, or some other team just pulled in that wasn't there the day before, and they're waiting to get in the pits and stuff like that. Now it's definitely cool. You guys are right about that,
because I'd say half the campers there are definitely for out-of-state campers.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. I would say at least half. I don't know. I hopefully they have a way or a workaround for that. That would be.
I mean, they do it at other tracks, right, Tim? Doesn't Thompson let you drop your camper off the week before?
Yeah, a month and a half before you're good to go there.
Yeah. That'd be interesting to see. I mean, did they even announce if they're having camping at all, Tim? Or?
I don't know. Not that I know.
I haven't heard anything about the camping side. I'm sorry, but that's definitely something we'll look into. I'll ask this week's drivers meeting, because Emily's always there, and people were asking her some questions about Turkey Derby. And one of the questions someone asked them was, do we got to do a list for Friday? And she said, no, not Friday, Saturday, the local Saturday one, the one before Thanksgiving weekend. And they're like, no, that'll be like a regular event. You don't need like a crew list, or it sounds like they're going to pull us right into pits. You know what I'm saying? There's not that many divisions, I think that's another reason they might have split it up, just for the space,
Yeah, it definitely helps that out, yeah.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's get going. What happened here Saturday night? we did all take bets on who's going to win and predictions and everything like that.
That's
so
right, I gotta
hopefully
pull
Josh
that.
does.
I have
Yeah,
it. I just had to dig it up.
All right. And then we're going to get right into the features here and everything and what everything that happened.
You lead the way. I'm going to go search my files.
Okay. I'm just trying to remember what race first.
Oh, you didn't send us the.
I know. I usually take a picture. It's on the front of my truck out there. I was supposed to bring someone else in the house too for my homework assignment. I forgot.
Yeah, you were supposed to bring something in.
Yeah, something out in the garage.
A book or a program or something.
Yeah, the first down the hill was the 4-cylinders, right, Tim? 4-cylinders got the race first this week.
I think. Yeah, I don't even remember. We're off to a good start.
On a blank.
The heat races were good.
The heat races were good. I won my heat race, Josh. Tim mentioned it.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I won my useless heat race. that stands for nothing. I even went down to get my picture taken. I usually don't go down and get my picture taken because I usually run my feature tires in the heat race so I know what my car's doing for the feature.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't like cutting through the infield because you pick up rubber and cigarette butts and you pick up a pop rivet and get a flat, so I don't like going down there. But I was changing my tires for the feature this time. I didn't run my feature tires in the heat race this time, so I went and got my picture taken because I didn't really care if anything happened to them. All right, so the very first feature down the hill was the 4-cylinders. I think that's one of the divisions that didn't have a very close point gap. I think it was pretty much locked up by Alonso before he started the race.
Yeah.
And the guy with the 7X car.
I'll look at that. I mean, actually, it was closer than I thought it was. 67 points was the margin.
That's quite a bit. That's a large margin.
Yeah.
And I'm showing they had 12 cars, Josh. What are you seeing?
That's a different page. 13.
13 cars. So, yeah, you're not making up 67 points with only 13 cars out there. The one exciting thing that happened, I did do a homework assignment. The Doug Andrew Ashford thing.
Oh, yes. I believe you got a message about that.
Yeah, Doug's the father's name, and Doug is also the son's name, but his middle name's Andrew. So they call him Andrew, and on Facebook he's Andrew, but at the track they call him Doug. So he's Doug Ashford. But
does he answer to both?
Andrew.
Like if you
I'd imagine. I've been calling him Andrew all year, so I'd imagine. And his brother is Ian Ashford, and he actually won the 4-cylinder race. So that family did good this year. Doug Andrew Ashford got his first win in a factory stock this year, and Ian Ashford, Doug's brother, Andrew's brother, Doug's son, got his first win in the 4-cylinder division this week. So that was pretty cool, and he ran a great race. He had some pressure from behind for a few laps and lap traffic to deal with and everything, and he handled everything awesome. And he actually pulled away from the guy in second place towards the end and won with a pretty comfortable margin.
Great. I'm looking at the feature results.
And Mike Lavery, who was second in points going into that race, he finished third, which is a good run. But Alonso Morales, who went down, he rolled out on the track, the leader of the points, with a 67-point margin. He definitely took it easy and finished sixth and locked up the championship, so nothing crazy happened there.
Yeah, he really just needed to run, finish the race and stay out of trouble.
And that's exactly what he did, and he was able to lock up his championship. I did talk to Mike Lavery. He did come over in the tech when I was in tech, and he was talking to me saying I ran a great race. And we talked a little bit about him this year, how he finished the year really strong. And we thought he might have missed a race during the year. That's why he's so far in points. He told me he's actually won a race and got disqualified.
Oh.
So that's why it looks like he missed a race. It was actually a disqualification.
Okay. So
that's what kind of hurt him in points there. I love talking to that guy. He's got a killer accent, man.
What Irish, right?
Yeah, definitely Irish. He sounds like the Lucky Charms guy,
And Felix's cousin finished third, right? In points?
He races 4-cylinders too.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
legend cars.
I'm getting ahead of myself.
Yeah, we're doing the 4-cylinders right now. All right, Josh, I got the top 10 here. I'm just gonna. I have 12 on here. You want to do the results, Josh? Just do them all.
Oh, yeah, sure, not a problem. So, Ian Ashford, Billy Prost, Mike Lavery, Alex Gretz, Nicole Rosano, Alonso Morales, Deanna McLaren, Sean Volksanic, Cody Critelli, Leanne Sherry, Bill Schwartz, Ryan Marr, and James Hall. That was your 13.
So Nicole Rosano got 5th, huh? That's a good run for her.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell you, she ran really good at the end of this year too. She's really picked up the pace, and now she's pretty much a top 5 car. She's always around that 5th, 6th place now. You know.
Mm-hmm. Now it's just a matter of the fine tuning to dial it in. But yeah, no, she's moved up.
See, that's what's so weird about. Like I'm looking at Race Monitor, and I have Deanna McLaren 10th, 2 laps down, and you have her where?
7th.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
Wait, you're not on? Are you on the stopwatch or the podium?
No, I'm on the podium.
Okay.
I
know I'll sometimes have it on the wrong one.
Yeah. Hey, but now I switch over to stopwatch. Let's do something else cool. Let's do the fastest lap of the race, which was Bill Prost, who finished 2nd in the race, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But he actually had a faster lap time, but quite a bit over Ian Ashford. That's what I mean. Lap 2, he did a 15.985, and Ian Ashford's best lap was lap 6 at a 16.124.
Wow.
So,
yeah.
I mean, Bill Prost was really fast at the beginning of the race, and it seemed like he slowed down a little bit, or Ian got faster, but because he definitely pulled away from him. But yeah, that number 5 car he did a 15.9, so he was quite a bit faster. He was a good 10th of a second faster than the rest of the field in the beginning of the race.
Yeah, I always found the lap times. I don't know. In real life, it always was so deceiving because I'd be like, "Man, it handled like crap," and I'd look, "Oh, that was my best time yet." And other times, like the car's handling awesome, and because you're slow. So, yeah.
All right, here's what the points with that. Let's do the points and how many points separate them at the end.
All right, so we talked about Alonso winning the championship there, and Mike Lavery coming in 2nd, 67 points behind. Nicole Rosano was actually 3rd in points. She was out by 105 points.
Yeah, but that's awesome. She got a top 3 in points, though.
Oh yeah, no, that's a trophy at the banquet right there. Then Ryan Marr was 112 out, and Ian Ashford was 118 points out.
So that's your top 5 in the 4-cylinders?
Yes.
All right, you want to do our picks on that one?
Yeah. Well, I think that was pretty.
We all agreed Alonso had that wrapped up, right?
Yes, that's correct. Like you said, there was just a big enough points deficit that it wasn't going to change. So, do we know who was next?
I would say the legend cars were next, Josh.
Yeah, let's go with that. All right, so 14 cars for the legends, and that was the the very close
real tight battle.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were only a couple points apart going into this night, right, Josh?
And coming out of the night, it was by 2 points.
Oh, wow. And that Mason McGee, he was there with a different car. The other car he wrecked a few weeks back. Remember, we were debating if he was going to make it back or with what car.
Yes.
He did come back with a different car. The other car was too damaged to repair and come back with.
Okay.
He got in trouble early in the race, too.
Twice.
Twice? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
He came pit side both times, right, Tim?
Yeah, the second time he got a flat.
Yeah,
the first,
I did see him in pits a couple times and his crew running around crazy, you know.
I think it was cause and effect. I think the first one was a wreck, an accident or something, and it ended up cutting the tire down for the second one, I think is what happened.
Right, okay. Yeah, so he had some adversity to overcome in that race, and he did. You know, he came through from the back, and he was able to get ahead of Quinn Trimmer enough to take the title away from Quinn.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, 14 cars, so you had enough traffic out there. You had enough, to really swap points around, and and the adversity of, having to come to the pits when you're in.
Wow! Look at the results too. Mason McGee finished 6th, and Quinn Trimmer was 7th.
Yeah.
So it's not like he just got ahead of him. And I tell you what, I talked to Kenneth Trimmer, which is Quinn's father, and he was pretty much at peace at it. He's like, hey, the other guy beat us, you know. He didn't wreck us. He didn't dump us. He didn't bulldoze us. He came up through the field and he flat out passed us and won the championship, you know.
It was a fair fight, basically.
Right, exactly.
I mean, and as long as everybody, is, on the same page and agrees about that, then yeah. I mean, it made a mid-pack battle, all the more exciting. If nothing else.
And then looking at the lap times too, Mason McGee was 6th fastest and Quinn Trimmer was 7th fastest. So,
okay. I mean, I'm sure that Quinn might be kicking himself for well, if I just did this different or whatever. But I mean, that could have gone either way. With if the wind blew the opposite direction, it could have changed.
But I mean, Quinn's fairly new to this race. I think this is only his first or second year for it.
Right.
He got a feature win. Are you looking at the points? He might even have 2 feature wins. And you see the stars next to his name there, Josh?
Yeah, I got 3.
Oh, I had 3 wins and second in points and losing the championship by 2 points. That's a great year.
And
good for him.
Mason McGee had 3 wins as well.
so they didn't really have a tiebreaker either. If it came to wow, that's close, man. That's super close. It literally came to one spot because they had to go to a tiebreaker. What do you think happens after that, Josh? If they all have the same, I guess.
How many seconds?
Oh yeah, who had the most second place finishes?
That or who had the most heat race wins. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Tim's right. I think it goes back to who had the most second place finishes.
Yeah.
That was super close. Those guys battled all year then. All right, Josh, this with the I have 14 cars. We're in that, and if you want to hit this, it's championship night. Let's do all 14.
You got it. So Mike Alcaro, who we haven't talked about at all, came in and won. Kevin Nowak, Alan Peterson, Richie Davidowitz, Tanner Jones, Mason McGee, Quinn Trimmer, Malcolm Campbell, Eugene Drew, Justin Emmons, Phil Bogdan, Leanne Cherry, Roger Nickerson, and Matt Verlangeri. And we'll head over to the points. And so it was Mason McGee over Quinn Trimmer by 2 points. Next we had Matt Verlangeri. He was out by 163. Phil Bogdan at 165. And Leanne Cherry at 173.
So even it was close at the top for the first 2, and then it was real close from 3rd to 5th.
Yes.
Just they had no chance of winning the championship, but they were all battling with each other right there for spots because they're already separated by a few points for the top 5 stuff.
Yeah, that's exactly.
That's pretty cool. Matt Verlangeri, first time racing, won a car over the winner in a raffle, and he finished 3rd in points. That's pretty cool.
That's strong. That's dedication right off the bat. All right. So
hold on a second, Josh. I'm just looking. I just want to give the fastest lap time was the number 52 Alan Peterson. He did a 14.400. Second was Mike Alcaro with a 14.406. And wow, they're real close. And the 53 Kevin Nowak was 3rd with a 14.407. So the 7,000ths of a second were separating the top 3. That's not even a blink of an eye, Josh. That's pretty amazing.
That's like drag racing talk right there.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, no, that's pretty incredible. So the Legends have, I'd say that was, I know not every race was great for them, but definitely a good show. All right.
What were our picks? I think I picked Quinn.
Let's see. Yes, Scott picked Quinn, and Tim and I picked Mason.
All right.
It was kind of a 50-50 shot. All right, so who is
and
next?
I still lost.
Yeah, Tim and I are
on
going
the
to
hill were the Sportsman cars. The Sportsman were next, and their race got mixed up too a little bit because it came. I know the point leaders had a few problems, and I know Kevin Davison needed a win to even have a shot at winning the points, and he did get the win.
Well, let's see. We had 13 cars for the Sportsman. Tim, were you spotting for anybody in the Sportsman?
We have the O2.
Okay.
Ryan Fisher.
Okay. I just want to, Tim, from your point of view, how was the race?
Good race. We got spun out early, and he came back to finish wherever he finished. There was
fifth.
I don't know. Yeah. The racing up front was good. Typical Sportsman race.
I mean, a lot of cautions, or
There was a few.
Okay.
There was a few spins, a couple wrecks.
Nothing major.
Super major. Yeah.
They tell you the truth. The last half of the season, they were pretty well.
They behaved themselves a lot better. Yeah.
Well, the
Not
car
only
count
that,
really thinned out.
Yeah, the car count thinned out, so they have a little more room to race. You know.
That's
All
right.
the good guys stayed. All the whatever you want to call them, beginners, squirrels, or whatever you want to call them, were disappeared. So
Squirrels.
I know Jared D. He had a little bit of trouble in the beginning of racing. He only completed 11 laps of the race and finished 11th, and he was one of the guys in the top 3 in points. I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
So his night was kind of done early, which was disappointing. But his brother was able to finish well enough to win the championship.
I think he finished right behind Ryan.
Yeah, 6th. I think that's all he had to finish, too, because he was right on Ryan's bumper, and I wasn't sitting far from the father and said, just stay right there. You know, just you finish there. We're the champions. Don't even try anything crazy, you know. And he just stayed right behind Ryan there and finished 6th.
Yeah.
Hey, Josh, hit us with the top. Well, hit us with the results of the Sportsman race, and then we'll move on to the points.
All right, so Kevin Davison, as you mentioned, got the win. Then Jake Nelke, Chris Silvestri, Larry Thompson, Ryan Fisher, Karsten D. Giantomaso, Jimmy Wolcott, Kenny Reeves, Dave Bailey, Neil Rutt III, Jarrett D. Giantomaso, Jeffrey Loesch, and Robert Sutphin. Actually, yeah, it's a good field. A lot of strong names.
Yeah.
Scott, you know the deal with the Robert Sutphin car? That seemed to be like another new car, and it all had an all white body on it, with duct tape numbers on it.
Oh, no, I didn't even notice that. I thought he was driving the X3 car again.
No.
Oh, it was a different car? No, maybe that's his car. I don't know. I didn't even notice that.
That's Timmy's number, though, right? 52?
Yeah, that might be their own car again. I didn't know anything about that. Fastest time of the race was Jake Nelke, a 13.253. Second fastest was Kevin Davis with a 13.321. And third fastest was, Jeffrey Loesch with a 13.324. I tell you, Jeffrey Loesch's car is fast, but it's loose. And when he gets some pressure from behind, he has a hard time keeping the car under him. If they can just tighten that car up a little bit, I think Jeffrey would have some strong runs.
Right.
He's one of those. If I've never spotted for the kid. I don't even know the kid. He walked up and smacked me in the mouth. But it looks like to me when he gets somebody behind him, he's more worried about what's behind him than in front of him, type thing.
Yeah.
And he needs to get rid of that. It looks like from sitting in the grandstand and watching. He does really good to get pressured, and then he makes mistakes.
I've been there. I know.
Yeah, we all have. All right, Josh, let's figure out the points here.
The points were exciting. This is another 2-point swing. Yeah.
The points were tight this year, man. They really were. And because there was fewer races, you know.
Honestly,
the car counts were down.
Yeah.
Through fourth place, so I'll read it off. So, Carson D. Giantomaso with the Lord's number 666, and 2 wins.
Oh my God, that's what he finished with.
Yeah. Then Kevin Davison, 2 points out with having 3 wins. Then Jake Nelke with a win. 17 points out, and he was in third. And then Jarrett D. Giantomaso, as you mentioned, had to tap out early in that last race. He ended up only 54 points out, and he has 2 wins to his credit there.
I tell you what, Charlie D and his race team, man, that was pretty gutsy for them to say, all right, we're six, just ride there and we win the championship. When it comes down to 2 points, I'm not leaving it up to people's math. I'm going for one more spot, get a little bit of a cushion, you know what I'm saying?
You want that insurance.
That's a little too close for me, you know.
Well, Scott, you've been in was it 1 or 2 points or 3 points?
3 points with Ronnie, and that's what I mean. That night they
well,
told me.
Half the people said you won, half the people said you didn't.
Yeah. Well, they said when we went out on the track, if I forget the exact numbers, but if I won and Ronnie finished 7th or worse, I was the champion. And I won and he finished 7th.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think both of you guys parked down.
Yeah, they had to figure it out for a while. And they told me when we were on the track. Yeah, I remember passing the line and looking at the scoreboard and being like, oh, wow, you finished in this, you know.
You really, if I remember right, you really didn't even know until the next week, right? They were still, wasn't it kind of up in the air? It was kind of up in the air until the.
I guess, I don't know. It was like whatever.
I remember Nancy doing her spreadsheets and everything, double checking.
And to tell you the truth, I think when we figured it out, I was like 5 points behind them. That's why I never really complained or nothing. Like they were saying I lost by 3. Me and Nancy figured it out that I lost by like 5. So who knows what was going on there, you know?
But yeah, I mean, it was exciting. And real quick, just to round it out, in 5th in points was Chris Silvestri. He was out by 106 points. But yeah,
that's a good year for Chris Silvestri because he just moved up from the late models. He was the late model championship last year, and then he decided to go sportsman racing.
Yeah, he does good.
Yeah, he had a great year. And Tim, that's a bone stock crate motor, like out of the crate, like not taking the Martinos or Borwicks and tinkered with. You know, it's a straight up box stock crate motor, and he runs pretty good with it.
I feel obligated to mention our buddy Neil Rutt III was 6th in points. He has 2 wins and he was out by 124 points, but he had a pretty strong season as well.
He missed a couple weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had a few bad wrecks on top of it too. So, but for him to even get 6 was pretty impressive. Where did Larry Thompson finish? He
10th in points.
I don't think he was there all year.
Yeah, he wasn't there all year. You're right,
Yeah.
Tim. He wasn't there in the beginning of the year.
Still has 2
He had
wins.
a strong end of the year, I can tell you that much, though. He might want to think about running the whole thing next year because he would have a good shot at it.
It's a commitment, to say the least.
To say the very least, especially in that division.
Yeah.
What about our picks?
Oh, good call. Where was it? Sportsman? All right, so Scott, you had Kevin Davison.
I sure did. He's
Yeah.
my guy.
Yep. I had picked Jarrett, so that didn't work out for me. Tim, you did pick Karsten.
Man, Tim's on a roll.
Yeah.
I just wanted to. I have a little personal joke with Kevin Davison and his wife. When you win the championship, and if you're a member of the Checker Flag fan club, you get invited to their banquet if you're a champion at any racetrack that, you know, in the area. It's out in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. They put on a nice little banquet for the champions, and you got to be a member of the club, which I am. And so is Kevin. And one year I won the championship, and he won the championship, so we sat together out at that banquet. And I like the food out there. It's family style.
Mm-hmm.
And, they bring in big plates of mashed potatoes and chicken and stuff like that, and they just put it on the table, and you got to pass it around, But it's in Kutztown, Pennsylvania, so it's like
Amish.
Tim, what do they call it? Yeah,
Amish.
But the German one,
The
the
Mennonites.
German Amish, or
Mhm.
I don't know, whatever it is. But yeah, it's Amish food, but I think it's more like the German. And they serve the salad hot. Like the lettuce is hot, and it's like a hot dressing on it.
Well,
It's
and the
hot.
German potato salad was hot.
Yeah, all that stuff. They serve their salads hot, and I love it. I loved it. Well, Nancy and Kevin's wife, they didn't like it, the hot salad. So that's always been our joke. I'm like, oh, he's gonna win the championship again, and you're gonna have to go out there and eat hot salad again. She's like, I'm bringing my own salad. I liked it. It had this hot dressing on it. It was really good.
Yeah.
But it makes the lettuce mushy, of course. You know what I'm saying? But I liked it. Everybody else thought it was disgusting, so I ended up eating everybody's salads.
German potato salad was awesome.
Yeah. All right, so she doesn't have to. He lost by 2 points, so she doesn't have to eat hot salad this winter.
That's an interesting
Gosh,
comfort.
it's a cool banquet. It's at a firehouse, and it's like a firehouse hall. But they do the tracks by alphabetical order.
Oh God.
So we're Wall Stadium. I was there one time. I went out there by myself. It's when I first had the surgery, and I drove all the way out there by myself. And Nancy didn't go because she was sick or something, and nobody else that won the championship at Wall that year was a member of that club. So there was nobody from Wall Stadium there. So I literally drove out there by myself, sat by myself. Right? You get there, and there's thousands of trophies, thousands. You know, because it's not just race car people; it's go karts and things like my niece's race, and there's so many tracks out there in Pennsylvania. You're out in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. It's all New Jersey, New York, Pennsylvania. And I look at the awards ceremony thinking Wall Stadium, factory stock champion Scott Rigglewood is the very, very, very last award.
Oh God! You get a special award for being last.
So I literally sat there all night by myself waiting to get my trophy, and it's like, you know, Allentown Fairground Speedway's heavy Honda driver, Mark
Oh God.
Heavy Honda light, heavy Honda 206, heavy middleweight.
Yeah.
You sit there all night.
Heavy Honda Junior extra large weight lost junior class.
Blue plate, red plate. Like you sit through. Josh, it starts at 6 o'clock. I think I got my award at like midnight. But they do a great job. There's a 50-50. They have a Chinese auction. So there's other stuff going on while you wait. And it's all fundraisers for the Checkered Flag Fan Club. And what they do with the proceeds and the money they raise, if someone gets hurt in a race car, they help them out with their hospital bills and stuff like that. You know?
Oh, okay. That's really nice.
Yeah, that's what they do. So
that's what you were supposed to get the driver's prayer thing from. That was your.
Oh, right. Yeah, stick. All right, next week. All right, guys. So that was the Sportsman division. That brings us to the Modifieds. The Modifieds are next down the hill. I don't think that was too close going down on the track. I think Andrew had a pretty good point lead into the night.
Yeah. Well, I'll spoil it real quick. We all three of us picked Kraus to win the championship.
Yeah, because he had a pretty good point lead, and we were afraid that the car count was going to be a little low for the modified, so it was going to be hard for Steven and Eddie McCarthy to make up any points on Andrew because of a lower car count in the lead he had. So we all picked Andrew on that one. I didn't
with that said, how many cars took the green?
I have 16. I'm sorry, 17.
Which is pretty good, you know.
Yeah.
Which is a nice field for a late season race before a big race. And one of the names that I saw on there that we haven't seen much of this year was Jason Hearn, who actually had a pretty good run. Tim, I think he finished fifth. Yeah, that's a good run for Jason. He's not there a lot, and for him to go out there and have a pretty good run and finish fifth in the night like that was pretty impressive. So it seems like he's pretty set up, and hopefully he comes back this week for the Cliff Krause race.
Yeah, honestly, this might have been he might have been going out there as more of a test session or practice for next week.
He ran good. I mean, out of the 17 cars to finish fifth is a pretty good run.
I mean, he always does well. I mean, he's a hell of a driver, and he knows his stuff. So
I think one position did change in the points. I think Eddie McCarthy might have jumped over Stephen Reed. I think Stephen Reed came into that night second in points and left third in points.
Okay.
They must have been real close because Stephen finished fourth and Eddie finished second. So that would be a 6-point swing. No, an 8-point swing. So they must have been real close coming into it.
They ended up 3 points apart.
Yeah, so Eddie got ahead of Stephen by a few points.
Yeah.
So that was one spot that changed during the course of the night there.
And then, I mean, I'm looking at the points now. I mean, Krause had 6 wins. And there's 1, 2.
Yeah, that was his 6th win of the year. You know, that's pretty cool. He won the championship and the feature that night, so that's pretty cool. You know, that's a good night.
And
you know,
he started mid pack. He didn't he drove up to he drove up to the front. So
he definitely has some talent, and that car is definitely hooked up. So
I definitely think him going away and racing on the modified tour has helped him when he comes back to Wall Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see. I can see that. Yes. All right.
All right, Josh, here's what the top 10 with this one because there's 17. I mean, if you want to do all 17, go ahead. But I think
You're not gonna get to the drama. You're gonna strip right over the drama of that race
what drama?
with Stephen Reed and what do you call it?
Why,
The
Tim, you
T-Rex?
got to talk about it. I didn't see it. I had to go into my car and get
Uh,
ready.
I like to
I
I like to
know
argue
Tyler
about
was he was leading, right, Tyler?
yeah, I like to argue about your boyfriend Stephen Reed.
Yeah,
Go ahead.
I didn't
Yeah.
see it. I did watch Steven's in-car camera, and I didn't see what initially happened, but I seen when Tyler tried to wreck him after.
Well, yeah,
something
yeah.
happened.
The racing deal. They were both going for the lead, and like I said last week, Tyler's not scared to run Nerf bar to Nerf bar, and we all know Steven's not. And they came together in the front stretch, and where they came together was like not my blind spot, but it's kind of like I can't see like the front of the car, the back of the car. I kind of see the roofs of the car, and it looks to me like Tyler came down a little bit, and like Steven came up a little bit. Like it's more of a racing deal, and I don't think and they put Tyler to the rear and put Steven back in the lead.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and one of them judgment calls, and I think
Yeah.
if they would have put Steven back to the rear too, I don't think it would have been that big. It would have been a racing deal. They came together.
Right.
Nobody
Tyler would be mad, but Tyler's like,
Yeah,
you're sending
nobody-
me to the rear.
yeah,
then
nobody-
Now I got to take
nobody-
care of it myself.
Nobody took each other out on purpose. I don't think.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It wouldn't have been such a big deal. But Uncle Dave put Tyler to the rear and Steven back up to the front. So now everybody in the grandstands is going nuts.
This is 2
Yeah.
weeks in a row now.
Yeah. It compounds the week before, and
Yeah.
and Tyler did the old I'm going to do 30 miles an hour coming around to wreck Stephen Reed. But Stephen Reed's like the king of wrecking people over there, so he knows what's going on. That's not the first time he's been in an altercation like that.
Yeah.
Stephen Reed being the veteran of that put Tyler in the front. Tyler's car was junk, and Stephen finished third or fourth. Where he finished. Stephen didn't do anything wrong. He actually slowed up. So
So
Tyler
now last
Tyler
week,
didn't get him.
so now last week Dave stops the feature because the 31 and the 69 Truex are battling hard, and he feels that there's going to be a bad wreck, and he just stopped it before it happened. This time he sees Tyler riding around the bottom of the track doing 5 miles an hour.
And he didn't do anything about it. Yeah.
As an 8-time champion and a veteran of Wall Stadium, you got to know what's going to happen when Steven comes up next to him. Why didn't he throw the yellow then and stop?
Well, Stephen was smart enough that he wove the whole field up, and he didn't go around him, and then they come around the front stretch, and he ended up taking him out more or less, or Tyler took himself out. We could say that too.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think if they would have put both of them to the rear,
Then Tyler makes a bad night even worse for himself. Just go to the back and try to pick up a few spots and call it a night. Now he waits for somebody else, and now he's got a wrecked race car on top of not a bad finish. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just sometimes you gotta really control your temper because you're just gonna make a bad night worse.
Yeah, I don't know. I never got that angry.
Nah, I mean, either.
like I said, it compounded 2 weeks in a row for that kid.
Just because we have $0, we can't wreck our cars.
Yeah.
We think about the financial side of it, and then we control our anger real quick.
Yeah, like, can I really afford to replace that? No. I mean, I've gotten annoyed, and I've, kind of purposely held my position, or not let somebody, come up and things like that. But yeah, to go blatantly out and just, I don't know.
All right, Josh, this is with the top 10.
All right, I'll do them all real quick. So Andrew Krause, Eddie McCarthy, Derek Hopkinson, Stephen Reed, Jason Hearn, Joey Merlino, Blake Barney, Sean Carrig, Mark Rogers, Mike Brennan, Jason Treat, Carsten DJ and Tommaso, Tommy Martino Jr., Tom Catanzaro, Kenny Matlack, Kenny Van Wickle, and Tyler Truex gets the DQ.
Tim, what do you think happened to Tommy Martino Jr.? He was actually pretty fast, and on a restart, he never went.
Something in the transmission.
Yeah, it sounded like clutch or transmission, right? Like something was slipping because he tried to get going again, and the car was just over revving.
Yeah, something in the transmission was going bad or went bad.
I didn't know if they had something over the loudspeaker or not.
No, and Blake Barney and the Van Winkle kid had something going on with each other out there.
Yeah, and it kind of carried over to the pits to the point where, from what I'm hearing, is when Blake made the left to go to his trailer, Kenny hit him one more time and like going into the pits there and spun him out, and there was people standing around. And
that's not a good idea.
Yeah.
Now even to go back even further than that, Dave Michaels threw him out last week.
He did. He threw him out over the radio last week, and I heard Thursday they got it overturned and were allowed to come back racing.
And then he did it again.
Yeah, so you think Kenny would have been on his best behavior, and he wasn't. So I don't know what's going to happen there now. That's a sticky situation. But he had more people mad at him because he could have hurt somebody in the pits. You know?
But you don't do that in the pits. That's like automatic throwing out for the rest of the year type stuff.
Yeah. So
I would say definitely don't let him in for the big money races.
No, I think it's pretty much. I think it's mandatory. I think it might even be in the rule book. If you do anything in the pits, you're out for the rest of the year.
Right.
He was out last week too, and he was able to come race. So I just wanted to do the lap times real quick. Tim's favorite modified driver, Stephen Reed, was the fastest, and this is why I like looking at the lap times because you would never guess this, but Stephen Reed was fastest. Joey Marlino was second fastest time with a 12.559. Tyler Truex was third fastest with a 12.576. Eddie McCarthy was fourth fastest with a 12.584. Now to get to our winner, who looks like the fastest car on the racetrack, he was fifth fastest with a 12.601.
Huh.
Yeah, but if you go 12.601 for 15 laps, and you do you bring your tires off in 3 laps.
Yeah, you're right, Tim.
Yeah, that's true.
You'd have to go to the chart where it shows every single lap, you know.
All
right. We did the points, or you want to do the points?
Yeah, we can.
We did the points, didn't we?
We just mentioned a couple.
Yeah, so Andrew, as we said, had the 6 wins. He had it pretty well locked up for a while. Eddie McCarthy ended up second in points, 59 points out of the lead. Stephen Reed was third. He was 62 points out. So only 3 points behind.
Separated them.
Yeah. Then it was a little bit bigger jump as you go to fourth place with Tom Martino Jr., 135 points out, and Blake was 193 points out.
Yeah, Blake missed a lot of races to go race other tracks this year. It's good to see Tom Martino Jr. He got fourth in points, and really his first year in the modifieds, moving up from the sports division. That's a pretty good season for him. All right, so next down the hill was the very popular factory stock feature, and things changed hand in that race, Josh.
That was a crazy race as far as.
Yeah, it was a crazy race, and I had a very, very long shot to win the championship going into it, and it almost happened. And it came close.
You cut it in half at least.
I did. I cut it in half. I won in there 30 in half because I won in there 34 points behind, and I ended up losing the championship by 17 points. I think a couple weeks ago, I think I was like almost 60 points out. Like I came on strong at the end of the year.
No, you whatever it was clicked, or I don't know. Maybe there's a higher power or something, Scott. I'm not gonna question anything right now.
I don't think 10 people left after the modified race either.
Everybody stayed for that factory stock race because it was close. I mean, Ellie only had a 1-point lead going in it, like I said, over Brian O'Shea, and I was 34 points out. It basically came down to whoever finished ahead of who between Brian and Elliott, and we were just talking about before. I think I needed to win, and they needed to. Blake Barney did some calculations in his brain when I was getting ready to go out on the track. And he's saying, "Like, you got how many points, Scott?" I'm like 34. Oh, you got we moved this decimal and
carry the one.
That's that gas station math.
Yeah. He was figuring out his head. Right as like going down the track, he's like, "You win, they got to finish 7th or worse." And I finished second, and Brian O'Shea was 6th. So it was close.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You know what? A lot of people, I noticed in the grandstands, there's more people wearing different, various factory stock shirts than there are modified shirts. Like you see more, Scott Wickman shirts. There's a lot of Tim O'Shea has a lot of shirts, or Brian, whatever his name is, and Elliot. You don't see very many. More people are wearing, like I'm saying, more people are wearing factory stock shirts than they are modified shirts.
That comes down to availability too. You know,
It's the way it should be, Scott. It's the way it should be.
All right, everybody loves Defenders.
Yeah,
They do. That's a popular division there. Where other tracks, people are gone by then. You know.
Yeah. So in our race, Brian O'Shea actually got tied up in I think it was the first caution. He got some damage and a flat tire, and he had a pit. And he had I mean, it's good and it's bad. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's bad you have any problems in any race, but it was good that it happened early in the race, and he had some time to make it back up.
Right.
And things were just kind of going my way and Elliot's way, to tell you the truth. I started 11th in that race, Josh. I started further behind than Brian and Elliot because I won that Gasco race, and the purse is by money earned, and that was a high-paying race, so it's taking me a while, So I made more money than them in the last few races, so I started further behind. I mean, Brian was 10th, I was 11th, but Elliot was 8th. So rolling onto the track, he was in the spot to be, Yeah. And there was a couple on the restart after that. I know I just heard gunshots in my yard.
Wonderful.
Vance, you hear that? You might want to go out and look.
Yeah, go out in the yard. Go ahead. Go out in the yard.
Yes.
I'll sit here.
See what's going on.
There was 6 gunshots in my front yard, guys. Can you guys talk for a second?
Yeah, we can.
It's a fine neighborhood you live
Nancy's
in.
not brave enough to go outside. I'll go take a look, okay?
Yeah, the only white guy in the whole neighborhood who's going to go outside and look what's going on.
And he's not as big and threatening as he used to be.
He fixes all their cars now, so they like him.
Okay.
I wouldn't go outside though. That's ballsy right there, boy.
Yeah.
I'd at least. Will you at least look out the window first?
I mean, doesn't he have like a Ring doorbell or a security camera or something? I mean, especially with the race shop. I mean, he's going to come back in like, I got to call 911, guys. There's somebody bleeding out.
All right, I'm back. All my other neighbors outside looking around, so I'll let them figure it out.
Okay. Tomorrow morning, you'll see these marks on the side of the house.
Well, Josh, you remember a few years back, I was on Channel 12 News because there was a drive-by shooting at the end of my street.
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Oh, wait, yeah. I
remember Jim Murdoch was here and everything, and they shot the guy's house up at the end of my street.
I think that I was. I think you were on the air. Yeah, you came on the TV while I was in urgent care in the waiting room. Yeah.
Speaking of which, they on 101.5, they talked about Wall Stadium for an hour. Or no, auto racing,
really?
New Jersey auto racing. I shouldn't say Wall Stadium. People called it
like that again,
Well, the guy, I don't listen to that channel often, but that guy's going to try to be there for either Turkey Derby or the last quarter midget race of the year.
That might be through Tony Bartone that owns the Arc restaurant, because they go in there a lot. Tony's friends with those people.
He made it seem like he was family friends with some kid who changes tires on, I guess, an Xfinity car, whatever ran Saturday at Talladega.
Okay.
And he got talking to the kid, and he was surprised. Like, the kid knows Ryan Flores, and he explained this. He explained it in what do you call it? Steve Golombetsky's kid. He knows all those guys. He was explaining to this disc jockey that there's a lot of behind the scenes people from New Jersey in auto racing. And that's how they got. That's how they got started talking about it.
All right, guys.
New Jersey's a weird state. I mean, a lot of famous people, and it's a weird freaking state. Anyway, so back to the factory stocks.
We asked how you said you started. We were talking about where you guys started, where we left off.
Yeah, I mean, I was able to get up to second, and that was a weird thing too. I mean, Elliot was Billy both was first. Elliot was second, and I was third on a restart. And I tell you what, my car was good, and I I had a feeling I can get by Elliott, and I thought maybe Elliott would take it a little bit easier because he was quite a bit ahead of Brian by 5 or 6 spots. So he had the championship locked up with only a few laps to go. I think we were down to like 4 or 5 to go. He's on the outside battling with Billy for the lead, and they ended up bumping a little bit going into turn 3, and Elliott spun, and that cost him the championship, and I was able to squeeze by on that. It was tight, but I was able to get through that, and that put me second with Billy, and then there was, like I said, we had a restart. I think there was only 3 or 4 laps to go, and I just kind of followed Billy to the win, and Elliott didn't have time to make up the spots, and he ended up losing the championship to Brian right there at the end. Brian finished 6th, and Elliott finished 10th, and it came to the point where I almost moved into second. I only lost to Elliott for second by 2 points. So.
Oh wow.
Yeah. All right. So the top 10 was Billy Both, which was his first career win. I thought he had a win by now, but no, this is his first career win. So congratulations to Billy on his first win. Second was Scott Riggleman. Third was Doug Andrew Ashford. Fourth was Nick Catone, which Nick gained some spots in the points. I think he moved up to 4th in points. So that was a good run for Nick. 5th was Robert Stack. 6th was our 2021 champion Brian O'Shea. 7th was Brian Osborne. 8th was the number 3 of Greg Munch. 9th was Ricky Collins, who was driving his sister Teresa's car. And 10th was Elliott Wall. We had 19 cars.
That's a good standard field.
We had more. We had 21. I know Gary Burton blew a motor up in practice or heat race, and he was on the trailer. I don't know who the other car was, but there was 21 listed when they posted the heat races. But we lost 2 between.
What?
2 outside. More gunshots.
Reload.
I don't know who the other car we lost, but yeah, we lost 2 cars. We had 21 show up, but 19 started to feature.
No more going to Uncle Scott's house. We're not going to Uncle Scott's house.
I'm getting a little nervous here.
Yeah, I've dropped stuff off at Scott's, and now I'm like, I might.
You're in the basement. You're in the basement. You're all right.
All right, so yeah, let's just do lap times and one. I did mention before I won my heat race too.
Well, what about our picks?
But as far as points go, that was definitely the most controversial race. Like lap 1, Ricky Collins runs right in the side of the 27, and so I'm like, well, there goes that. He's all done, and he was able. I don't know how he got lucky that car didn't get bent as worse as it did. Because
I tell you what, he did have damage because when he drove into Tech after the race, you could hear the fan hitting like the fan shroud, like it was like.
I don't know how well built the front of Ricky's car was, but it looked like it bent the horns up. The front of the car.
Yeah, he was bent up like a banana, like it was up in the front there. I saw that.
Yeah, so he hit him pretty hard, and then Elliott.
But in Ricky's defense, a lot of people blame that wreck on Ricky, but I watched the video. There was like some stuff coming off of 1, off of 2 going onto the back straightaway, and Ricky and Brian O'Shea went high to miss it, and the 3 car made it 3 wide. He went down low, so now when they got to 3, Ricky was stuck in the middle. Like the 3 car went on their inside. Ricky didn't make it 3 wide. The other car did.
Okay.
Yeah.
But he still should have been careful around Brian and try not to run into him.
So everybody's like, oh. The points battle's over on the first lap, but it ended up not to be. And then Elliott, that's why I picked Elliott too, because Elliott's not scared to race, and some people say he should have not, should have finished third.
When I was behind Elliott, because I was behind him before that last caution, and he was loose. His car was the rear of his car was dancing around a lot. And then when he got on the top, he was even more loose up there. So I was waiting for Billy to clear him so I could pass him too. And when your car's that loose, you got to take it a little more easier. And Elliott was really going into the corner hard where you, Josh, when your car's that loose and you go in that hard, like the slightest of tap is going to send you around. You know what I'm saying? The car's like floating at that point.
He gave himself no margin.
Yeah. Elliott went into the corner and his car was bouncing around, and he came down a little bit, and Billy came up a little bit, and they met, and they were side by side. They were wheel to wheel, so it's not like he hit him in the back bumper and spun him. They just door slammed each other, and Elliott spun. You know, his car was just a little too free for that type of roughness.
There,
you know?
some people were saying, because I guess that Billy Booth kid, I guess, O'Shea's work on that car.
Yeah, Billy
whatever.
Booth and the O'Shea's were close, but Billy, trust me, Billy's trying to win his first career feature win. He's not.
No, I know. I'm just saying
Brian
what the fan
O'Shea's
reaction was.
Yeah, oh yeah, without doubt, fans are definitely gonna dream that stuff up.
You know, Elliott could have finished third if people were like, you point sucking, you know, didn't
Because
go for
I
the
mean,
win. And,
I know Doug Andrew Ashford. He was close to us there for a little while, but we started pulling away. So if Elliott would have fell back to third and got in line, I think he would have been fine with Andrew. You know what I'm saying? Like I think he would have fell in behind me, then it would have been Andrew Ashford, and then another car.
yeah. So
Sorry.
did Elliott do
shots in my yard?
another one? No more. Third round.
And you know, there would have been two cars between Elliott and Brian O'Shea, and then by then we're single file, and there's like 3 laps left. He had the championship. He had it locked up. You know, he was going for it all. I guess I don't know. He says he wasn't, but what was he doing up there then? You know. I tell you what, he was loaded up quick, and he came over and shook Brian's hand. He shook my hand. He said, "All right, I'm trying to make it to the bar before the kitchen's closed." Like he didn't even care. He just worried about going to get something to eat.
Yeah, I wanted to mention. I believe it was the previous year that oh no, when was it that Ricky and O'Shea had gotten together? I think it was, I don't know if it was Turkey Derby or what, but it was like the cars got stuck together, but then it looked like Ricky was trying to drive Brian down to the infield. And
I have no idea.
Yeah, I was saying, I don't know, you know, if there was anything left over from that when they got
No, if you watch the video, they just got 3 wide.
Okay.
It just didn't work out when they got to the corner.
So my point being is that Elliott, I respect Elliott for racing for the win. You know, going for it.
No, I do too. I mean, me and Ellie talk about it all the time because we get handicapped over there if we get too many wins, and you can't start higher than 5th. You get 2 wins, you can't start higher than 9th. You get 3 wins, you got to add 50 pounds. But me and Ellie, we always talk about it. So when if you have the chance to win, you can't say I don't want to win because I don't want to add 50 pounds. You got to take the wins when they come. And he might have said, here's a win that's coming my way. I'm going to take it. You know.
Yeah.
Here's a open up a can of worms, but when they first made that factory stock division, it was the beginners. It's not the beginners class anymore.
No, it's not. They got to stop with the penalties. You know.
Yeah, it's the second. You know, you're never
They
going to.
still doing it in the 4 cylinders too. I think
Well, that's
division's
fine.
evolved. You think it's okay in that division? Yeah, I think you're right. The factory stock division. Stop with the stupid penalties. You know.
The reason why I say the difference between the 4 cylinders and the factory stock is, first of all, the 4 cylinders you're not all racing Monte Carlo based cars. You know what I mean?
It's all different.
Yeah, who knows what car really came off the assembly line that has an advantage? Do you know what I mean?
Right.
20 years later. So if there's a car that is physically advantaged, then you have to weigh them different. But as far as you guys are all racing it, I mean, Rich Monjo built 3/4 of the cars out there. You know, and then there's a couple guys that he didn't build cars for. They're all the same cars. So as far as you know,
Let 'em race.
You shouldn't have to be penalized for that anymore in that division.
All right, Josh, hit us with the points.
All right. Sorry, I was looking at our picks. Do you want to do our picks real quick?
Yeah, I picked myself.
Yep, and Tim and I both picked Elliott, and we was all wrong.
Oh, we were all wrong with this one. Oh, wow. That was a first.
Yeah. All right, so Brian O'Shea, let's see, 4 wins, and he beat Elliott by 15 points. Then, Scott, you were in third, only 17 points out. So you were, 2 more points, you could have had second.
Right. And then,
Although
then
you
there was
and
a big draw.
I was going to say you and Elliott both have 2 wins.
Yeah, so it would have been a tie thing.
Yeah.
And then there was a big drop to 4th, right?
Yeah, Nick Catone was in 4th. He was 150.
That's a good run for him.
Points out.
I think he had 2 wins this year and 4th in points. That's a good year for Nick.
It only shows 1 win.
Okay, one win. Yeah, one win and fourth in points. That's a good year for Nick.
Yeah. Definitely, the wins are definitely spread out. Cause let's see, we have AJ, Billy Both, John Carpenter, Doug Ashford, Nick Catone, Scott, Elliott, and Brian. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't have like one guy win 10 races. Like
Yeah.
we've seen in the past. I mean, the one year I won the championship, I had 8 wins, and I think it was only like a 15 race deal. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
that goes back to why they shouldn't let you have the 100 pounds. No, nobody's dominating or anything anymore.
Yeah, right. And Brian didn't have the weight on because one of the wins he had, well, of course, was this week. So, but he did have 3 wins, but he didn't have to add the weight because when he won his 3rd win, it was during that weird time we weren't getting tires, and we were just racing for 30 show up points. So they figured it was that race didn't count towards the penalty or whatever.
All right.
Yeah.
And what motors he got in that car?
He runs Martino motors.
Yep.
Is it built motor or a crate motor?
Yeah, Bill. Yeah, you're not allowed to touch our crate motors.
Oh.
All right, so going with the lap times. Fastest lap of the race was the 09 of Scott Riggleman, a 16.153. Second fastest was Brian O'Shea with a 16.189. Third fastest was Billy Both with a 16.209. Hold on a second, just lost it. Fourth was Robert Stack with a 16.237, and fifth fastest was Brian Osborne with a 16.272. Elliott was off his game. He was seventh fastest.
Brian Osborne, the last month has really come on.
He put a 6.02 in.
They found something, yeah.
Yeah. Elliott Wall was only 7th fastest with a 16.3. That's not good for him.
He picked the wrong wrong gamble for the setup.
Or he made his car legal, so he didn't lose it.
Oh man!
Still shoots a flame out of it every week.
Yeah, dude. He was changing spark plugs and everything in the pits, trying to figure that out. Like he would literally go out and he'd come back and his spark plugs were like all fouled out. He was changing distributors. I really think it came down to him overthinking.
Elliott Wall able to fill the hole.
He's been doing it all year though.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, him personally, just he was just changing too much stuff in the course of the night, worrying about points. All right, so that pretty much wraps up what happened there Saturday night. Just want to talk a little bit what's going on this weekend coming up, Josh.
Yeah, don't. I want to say make sure you don't go and attack your ex-wife with an axe or a hatchet.
One thing I do want to remind everybody: this week coming up this Saturday is the Cliff Cross Memorial Race. Everything's moved up an hour. Future start time is 6, not 7. Pit gates are opening up an hour earlier. Grandstands are opening up an hour earlier. So don't show up at 7 o'clock this week because everything's an hour earlier. So if you normally get there at 4 o'clock, get there at 3 o'clock this week.
Oh, God, I might as well just camp out overnight.
It is the Cliff Cross race, 127-lap modified race. All the other support divisions are 27-lap races. In honor of Cliff, his favorite number was 27. It's only a 4 divisions we're racing. I know it's factory stock, Sportsman, and 4 cylinders in the modified race. That's what's going on this week for the Cliff Cross Memorial Race. Non-points, no points. I don't think there's any tire bank involved this week. I think it's straight up racing. I don't know what they're doing about handicapping and stuff like that.
Let's see.
I'm sure the modifieds will be time trials.
Grandstand ticket prices: adults are $22. Surprised they don't do 27 for that. It's a joke. It's a joke. I think.
Don't give them any ideas.
22 is plenty fair. I was just making it. Yeah.
It already cost me $75 a week to get in there.
Senior discount, you get $18. Active military, 10. Students, ages 6 to 18, and college students with ID, $10. That's actually pretty good. Let's see. $7,127 cash prize trophy. That's a big purse.
That's a big purse.
And
you see the modified tour type modified portion of Turkey Derby? They're paying $10,000 to win this year.
That's good. That's going to draw some cars.
Matt Hirschman just got a new baby boy, so he'll get extra $3,000.
All right, guys, I got to get going here. It's pretty late, and plus I got to go find my bulletproof vest and see what's going on outside.
Yeah. Does your house have, like, bullet cladding?
The cops don't even come to that part of town.
He's going to take his Lexan
I tell you what,
windshield.
Tim, it's funny you say that. That night we had the drive-by shooting at the end of the street. Me and Nancy were sitting here. We heard 6 gunshots going off, and then it's like the town got quiet, like real quiet for a little while,
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, where the hell are the cops? I didn't call. I ain't gonna be the guy that calls because they'll be shooting my house up next.
Yeah.
And as I said, I just hear another gunshot.
Jesus.
They got to be dead by now.
Woo! He did.
So it got real quiet, and I sat there and I'm waiting. I see one cop car pull up, and that's it. And he's sitting in front of my house. Then you see like 25 cop cars pulling my street. They must have staged at the end of the street,
Right.
got together, and then came to the street. You know what I'm saying? Like they must have all met up in a parking lot. They weren't coming by themselves, like.
Mm-hmm.
And Josh, I've never seen so many cop cars in my life. It was like Manchester cop cars, state troopers, Bricktown, like I said, the Ocean County Sheriff's Department. Like it was on then. You know what I'm saying?
Did they ever find anything?
Yeah. After interviewing the guy, they knew what it was about. It was definitely over drugs and stuff like that. And the guy never paid the guy for drugs, and the guy put 6 bullets in the guy's house. And then the guy that lived there, unfortunately, like 2 weeks later, he was dead anyway. So, just from like an overdose or something like that.
Okay.
Yeah, it was one of those deals.
Wow.
So, Josh, there's a house for sale on my street if you're interested.
I heard it has a nice garage.
All right, guys, that wraps up RPM Podcast, episode 198.
Hey, we got to get the bad boys from the cops now. What we're going to do.
Can I open with that next week? I have a quick what have we learned?
You want to do a quick one? I don't care.
Yeah. Tim, did you learn anything?
Yeah, I did. I forgot what it was.
I tell you what, I learned, even though my season wasn't going great at the beginning of the year and I had some bad nights, never give up on the points because you just never know how it's going to change. You know what I'm saying? Just keep going. Yeah. You just never know.
You learn anything?
Damn it! I had a funny one. And I forgot what it was. It was something earlier on the show. No, I don't.
All right. So today I learned that nobody knows what the running order was. I learned that some Sportsman drivers are squirrels. I learned that Scott ate everyone's hot salad. And I learned that Scott sends Nancy to check for gunmen in the yard. So.
Real quick. I just wanted to say something. I was shocked to hear about old poor John West Townley getting killed or whatever.
I did a little more reading about that.
That's why I said don't attack your ex-wife with a hatchet.
Yeah, it seems like he's always been battling mental issues, and we've seen a little bit of that when he was racing in NASCAR. And they're saying, and the weird part of it is, he comes from a very wealthy family. They own the Zaxby's restaurant chain down in the South.
Which makes a fine chicken sandwich.
Yeah, it's like a Kentucky Fried Chicken of the South, but it's more geared towards like late night college students. Like it's the go-to place for after you're partying all night. You go 2 a.m. and you go get a chicken sandwich or chicken fingers.
Oh, like Chegg.
It's a place like that, and they do very well down there. He comes from a very wealthy family, and it seems like he was on some pretty heavy mental medication, and he also had a drinking problem. So he was drinking on top of his medications. They said 6 hours before he committed that crime, he was at a big college football game, like in the Zaxby's restaurant suite, like with his family, like having a good time. 6 hours later, he was dead. It's just weird that they've been getting divorced for a while, him and his wife, like for a couple of years, and it just got finalized like that day or that week or whatever, and he went over there, and it sounds like he tried to attack her with an axe, and she was already living with a new guy, or her boyfriend was over, and the boyfriend had a gun and shot him, killed him.
Shot her, too.
By accident, yeah, in the crossfire, and she's still battling for her life, so let's hope she pulls through, I don't know, a sad situation. I liked watching John West race. He definitely brought excitement to the track. He was a checkers or wreckers type of guy, and he was mostly wreckers.
Well, we all know he couldn't fight because he did at one time.
Yeah.
So
but he was a fighter, you know what I'm saying? Like, he didn't take anybody's crap. He knew he was a rich kid that was just there on money, and he didn't care. He raced, he wrecked, he raced again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He put an axe to a gunfight though and lost.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people are saying. Don't bring an axe to a gunfight. Yeah,
Scott, you better get rid of your axe. Get a gun over there.
yeah I have a gun. I got guns. I'm good. All right, guys, that wraps up episode 198 of the RPM podcast. We'll see you Saturday for the Cliff Krause race.
Go to
Good
Walmart.
night, everyone. Wash your hands.
Good night.